As we put it earlier on in the night, Morgan, one of a small handful of fighters that anyone during Inoue's reign, anyone believed could potentially beat him.
Yes.
I'm talking about anyone picking a fighter against Inoue anywhere on the internet. There haven't been that many of them. Akhmadaliev was someone who was presumed to be a challenge, and outside of that scary moment in the final.
Why should Naoya Inoue get a pass to fight low-level opponents and duck his mandatory, not once, not twice, but 3 times? Inoue is undisputed, pound for pound great, but I've got to say, his resume is pretty shit, to be honest with you. Like, okay, he beat Stephen Fulton, good performance. I mean, I don't know. I think Naoya Inoue is really disappointing. And I think he's very, very disappointing as a champion. He's been ordered now twice to fight MJ. He's paid money to the WBA for a permit to avoid him.
Do you think that fight just won't happen now then?
Obviously. But listen, what I'm telling you now, yeah? So, remember this. The WBA said, okay, we'll allow you to fight Goodman, reluctantly. That's the second time you've ducked. But after Goodman, or now this guy is just boxed, you have to fight Akhmadaliev, and we will order the fight immediately.
My biggest issue here, y'all. Gears. What's up with this man's gears, man? He's either stuck in first or second, or he goes in fifth for killer mode.
The long-awaited showdown between Naoya Inoue and Murodjon Akhmadaliev is finally over, and it was every bit as exciting as fans had hoped. But before the first punch was thrown, UFC analysts shared their final thoughts on how the fight might unfold. Joel Diaz, in particular, showed strong faith in MJ. He spoke about the champion's high spirits and sharp focus going into the bout, saying it seemed like MJ had been waiting for this exact test. According to Diaz, the team recognized the huge opportunity in front of them and came in fully prepared to seize it.
The spirits are great. The spirits are great because this is the fight that MJ has been asking for a while, and he's very motivated. He's very positive about it, and we see a big opportunity, and we're going to.
When analyzing the matchup, Diaz emphasized that MJ wasn't just about raw power. He explained that MJ had the complete package, his Olympic background, well-rounded skills, and experience from competing in high-pressure fights. In Diaz's opinion, that combination gave MJ a clear edge that couldn't be ignored.
I mean, MJ has a lot more tools than Cardenas. He has power, skill, experience. Remember, he's an Olympian. And he's been in tougher fights than
Diaz also pointed out the contrast in their fighting styles. While many fighters use the traditional Mexican pressure approach, MJ depended more on movement, footwork, and staying elusive. Diaz believed that this could frustrate Inoue and push him into positions where he might not feel as comfortable.
At a higher level than Ramon Cardenas.
And it just means that they're different styles, right? Ramon is more fajador, more Mexican style. MJ is just more of a
more
box.
elusive, he has more footwork. He's great. He's great with his footwork, and, hopefully.
Still, even with all that belief, Diaz never spoke as if victory was guaranteed. He sounded like a coach who understood the risks but trusted that his fighter had the right tools to get the job done. He made it clear that MJ's camp was focused, disciplined, and ready for whatever came their way. Meanwhile, analysts Adam Catterall and Nick Pete broke down the super bantamweight showdown in Japan, sharing their take on how things might unfold. Their attention was firmly on MJ's chances against Naoya Inoue. While they acknowledged MJ could have some early success by pressing forward, they also stressed how dangerous Inoue could be. His unpredictability and finishing power, they said, made this an especially tough challenge.
He's finally stopped running. That's the narrative, isn't it? That's the narrative. He's been running from MJ for the last 2 years. However, he's taken legal proceedings in order to get this fight over the line. MJ and his team have been pushing, and they've had to lobby and kind of force this particular fight.
Get
to
legislation
happen.
involved, yeah.
Listen, I'm glad it's happening because it's a fight that I think all fight fans have wanted to see, even though maybe the fight fans out in Japan would prefer the Nakatani fight.
But would they? We have this conversation all the time. We need to get some Japanese people on our Patreon to get involved in this conversation because we're constantly banging the drum. Inoue Nakatani is the biggest fight on the plethora for Inoue. What's the biggest test out there? The biggest test for Terence Crawford? Bloody Canelo, yeah, okay, let's see if he can do it. Biggest test for Usyk? Well, you line them all up, he knocked them all down, done, completed it. Biggest test for Inoue is Nakatani. We're banging it. I can only imagine in Japan, they're like, nah man, we're good.
They also noted that Inoue had already gone up against many top-level fighters. Even when opponents managed to land clean shots, he always found a way to recover. They admitted MJ might be able to trouble him, even score a knockdown, but stressed that Inouye's experience and power gave him answers for almost every situation. Facing him, they explained, was like working through a puzzle where every move mattered and timing was the key.
The guy that dropped him is the training partner of Akhmadaliev. Mm-hmm. So therefore, this corner have already had a good look at Inoue. They've come up with a game plan once before. MJ is a much better fighter than Kasana, who fought him a little earlier on this year. Don't get me wrong. Inoue's got off the deck twice and battered both of those guys and stopped them.
That's the problem you've got.
Can Akhmadaliev and his style sustain for longer periods of time in the fight what Luis Neira did early, what Quesada did early? Can he do that? And if he can he cause an upset in Japan?
Well, this is the problem. The problem is when you drop Inoue, when you land the shot and you catch Inoue shifting stances, whatever it is, going from orthodox to southpaw, you catch him square on for a second, which is what Neri did. When you rattle the cage of the monster, when you hit him, you're then looking at a world of pain because you've got two options now. The first is pounce. I've hit him. I'm going to pounce. That's what he's waiting for. He wants you to pounce.
Adam and Nick also discussed how MJ's style could create problems for Inoue. His strong body shots, knockout power, and forward pressure, they said, could make the fight very competitive. They pointed out that Inoue had shown rare moments of vulnerability in the past, even being dropped once, which meant MJ might have an opening if he executed his plan perfectly. Still, their breakdown suggested MJ would need to stay disciplined and avoid overcommitting if he wanted to turn those chances into something big.
Making a case for Akhmadaliev this weekend. One, he's used to fighting on the road. He's used to going in people's back gardens.
Okay,
right?
Good start.
The company that he's keeping in the gym, he's knocking about the likes of the Bivols and the Zalievs of this world out in America. That's the iron sharpens iron type of argument.
Lovely.
His stoppage and knockout ratio is very, very good for this division. And I also think the style that he is of a fighter could genuinely cause some serious problems for Naoya Inoue. He's a front foot pressure fighter, brilliant work to the body. And he's got, as I've just pointed out, with the knockout ratio that he's got heavy hands.
Yeah.
There have been little glimpses in the armour of Naoya Inoue that there's gaps there.
Absolutely.
He fought Luis Neira.
Got dropped.
Gets dropped in the first round. Last time out, last minute opponent comes in, drops him in the second round, has him all over the place.